I was recently discussing with someone some of the most memorable cases that I've had the pleasure of working on, and I know one of the, probably by far actually, the most memorable workers' compensation case that I've ever had was a gentleman who worked for a very large telephone company who was exposed to pigeon droppings, and as a result he contracted a condition. It's called cryptococcal meningitis, which is a condition that you get from being exposed to numerous things, but one of the primary things is dried pigeon droppings. And we can laugh about the pigeon droppings because it kind of makes it a funny story, but actually it's a very sad story, because what this condition does is it goes, whenever you breathe it, it goes from your lungs into your bloodstream, into your spinal canal, and then it goes to your brain. And once it gets to your brain, it starts destroying the brain, and it starts destroying your ability to remember. And the gentleman that I had the pleasure of representing, he had no short-term memory whatsoever. None. I could spend an entire day with him, and even after I represented him for well over a year, he would walk in with his guardian. I would speak with him for a few minutes. He really wouldn't know who I was, but that we would be introduced, even though I had seen him literally hundreds of times before. And I would walk out of the room to get a piece of paper, to get a pen, or to make a copy, and whenever I would come back in, he had no idea who I was, no idea whatsoever. And he had to have round-the-clock care. And I know during this there was a period where his wife passed away, and the problem is he wouldn't remember that his wife passed away. And he would constantly be asking, you know, where is she? And unfortunately, even if you had to explain what happened, 2 minutes later, once again, he wouldn't remember again. Anyway, the problem is that he contracted this condition while he was on the job, and the workers' comp insurance carrier for this large telephone company denied the entire case. They denied that they were responsible. And so here is a gentleman who was the breadwinner for the family, who worked hard, who worked for this telephone company for, I don't quite remember, but it was easily 20 years, maybe even longer, maybe even 30 years. And he was now unable to work, he was now unable to pay bills, and he was unable to take care of himself. And he had to have round-the-clock care. Round-the-clock supervision, I should say. And it was a very long battle, but I have to say that when it was all over and done, we were able to prevail, and he now has the benefit of receiving lifetime lost wages, as well as round-the-clock care and medical care. And that was very, very satisfying.